What's going on, everybody? James here, RedemptionAgency.com. 21 years selling on eBay. And we got another day, another sales. All right, I'm going to update you on what I've been doing, the results from what I've been doing, and what sold overnight. So let's get into this, shall we? So, as most of you experienced over the weekend, today is Wednesday. Yes, and is it 10 a.m. right now? So, 10 a.m. Wednesday. Over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday especially, a lot of issues on eBay site. For me, most of it came on Saturday. I think I only did like $500 on Saturday. And I had a lot of server issues. I even had a new page come up that I never seen before with requests cannot be done at this time. Trying to take offers kept airing out on me. I had a person yesterday actually emailed me and said that they can't send offers to me. They're trying to send offers on 3 8-tracks. When it comes to something like that, I don't know if it's their account or if it's eBay, because if you send, they had about 200 feedback, so I thought they would be good, but if you send too many, sometimes eBay says, hey, wait, hold. I don't know. So it's hard to determine whether that was part of any issue or not. But Saturday and Sunday, definitely a lot of issues going on with the eBay site and very little sales. Let's see here. As far as Saturday, I sold 40 items. With 1.5 million impressions. And Sunday I sold 53 items with 1.6 million impressions. And I'm paying a little bit more attention to these impression things since I've been playing with my promoted percentage. Because as I've talked about, the 30% off feels like a sweet spot with the sale. There's got to be a sweet spot with the percentage, I thought, going into this. And as you know, I've been pushing, I've been doing mine at 15 to 20%, even sometimes at 25%. I had downed it from there, I don't know, maybe a month ago or so. So I was using mostly 15 to 20%. And the 15% was my lower dollar items, which was a lot of, media. And the 20 was my hats and my shirts and stuff like that, toys, electronics, whatever, my higher price stuff. And I was noticing, and I think I said it on one of the videos, that I'm selling a lot of media. I'm selling a lot of lower dollar stuff. So then a little light bulb went off and go, well, you're promoting those at 15. Everything else you're promoting at 20. Maybe there's something to that. So, new experiment. So, after Saturday and Sunday, Saturday was, I only did $530. Sunday was a little bit better. I got up to $700. So Saturday was the major mess up day. The Monday, it totally destroyed again. And here we go again, another Monday totally destroyed, because I think they do some kind of updates on Sunday. Prior to Saturday's issues, I did notice a new update. When you search for an item on eBay, now they've got a new feature where it shows your percentage, your feedback percentage, underneath the title of the items you're searching for. So I saw that new feature, and then Saturday everything crashed. So I don't know if they implemented that on Friday or Thursday, or if I just noticed it on Friday. But Saturday's when everything crashed. And then as per every Monday, and my theory, they're updating the site on Sunday nights, and it crashes on Monday. So Monday was a total disaster. Only did $515. And let's see what the details were for that day. So I sold 42 items with 1.2 million impressions. Now, I'm going to start breaking down these impressions for you. My organic, no matter what's going on, whether I sell 30 items or I sell, 70 items, my organic impressions is staying between 350,000 to 400,000 impressions. So I guess that's based off how many items I have in the store, and how many people search for those items. So basically the average search for the types of items that I sell is the way I'm looking at it. Because promoted puts your images everywhere else. It does put it into search also, and then it puts it everywhere else also too. So organic, I don't believe puts it everywhere else. Organic's just in the organic searches. So that's where your main, common search is. So I started focusing on the difference between the two. And the thing I'm noticing is that the promoted impressions, no matter if it's 1.2 million promoted impressions or if it's 450,000 promoted impressions, I'm getting the same outcome. So why am I paying more to get more impressions, but yet it's not driving me more sales? So they are putting what I feel, theory, is they're putting my items obviously in places where they don't need to be, where they're not generating any sales, but yet they're taking a higher percentage on the items that are selling. Well, that doesn't seem right now, does it? So I'm like, let's find that sweet spot where I feel like that at a certain percentage promoted, they're putting it where it needs to be put, where it's going to make a sale. Anything beyond that, whatever, doesn't matter. So I was trying to find that sweet spot. So since after the crappy day Monday night at 9 p.m., I shut off my promoted. Totally shut it off. 0% promoted. I'm going to let the system purge, basically, and then I'm going to start a new strategy come Tuesday. So I went to bed, woke up, let's just call it 12 hours, 9 to 9, and nothing had changed sale-wise. I still had pretty much the same amount of sales overnight, same dollar amounts, but of course, it takes time for stuff within their system to complete. It starts, but it doesn't complete. Whether you put on a sale, take off a sale, it's got to, over time, over a day, basically, start coming down, start going up. So that first overnight was pretty much the same, no big deal. I didn't know what to expect, but was not surprised. So throughout the day, it started going down a little bit more, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to figure something out. What do I want to do? So probably about 1 p.m. or so, I just did a new strategy. And what I did was I went into promoted, and then I separated it by my store promotions, my store categories. So I got CDs, T-shirts, hats, 8-tracks, LPs. I got a store category for everything. So I went into store category. Okay, I'm going to do CDs first. Let me check to see what their rate is, their suggested ad rate for CDs. And then I went about 1% higher. So I went 1% higher on all their suggested numbers. So instead of doing 15 to 20, I'm doing 8 to 12 percentage-wise. I think, well, maybe actually it might be 9 to 12. There might be an 8 in there. But anyway, somewhere within that range, let's just say 10 average. So, or 11 average even. So I am saving, say, anywhere from 4 to 9% with this new strategy. And the strategy is my organic's going to get the same amount of impressions. So that's going to bring in the same amount of sales. The promoted, if my theory is right, will put the major promoted where they need to be to sell. And there's not a lot of extra just thrown wherevers. There's more, I feel like there's more strategy within the promoted placements, say within the first, I don't know, first million impressions. Because, is that right? Yeah, maybe a little less. Yeah, let's just call it the first million impressions. It's within promoted. It seems like, for me, because of the amount of items I have, seem like they're strategically placed better than anything over the 1 million impressions in the promoted. Because no matter if I got 800 to 900,000 promoted impressions, or if I got 1.6 million promoted impressions, there was no different outcome except they were taking more money from me. There was not an increase in amount of items sold. So it felt like a lot of waste on the back end, if you will. I hope this is making sense to you. It's making sense in my head. So going that just like that 1% over the suggested, I felt like I could get the most meat out of the promoted, if you will. So yesterday, up until almost halfway in my day, I had no promoted on. By, I think it was 3 o'clock, I had already beat my Monday number. And I only had the impressions, the new promoted on for an hour, maybe 2 hours. Maybe I did it around noon. Somewhere around noon to 1, somewhere in there, I did the new thing. So there was a couple of hours with the new one on, and I noticed the start climbing in sales right off the bat. So by about 3 p.m., I've already beat Monday's numbers. All right, so yesterday, get out of my way, I sold 42 items with only 1.2 million impressions. So that's my 350,000 organic, but only 900,000 promoted impressions. Number-wise, $675. Now, I didn't expect a huge number day just because most of the day was there were no promoted. There wasn't nothing overnight. So I was actually got more than I expected. Let's just say that. I was expecting $400 for the day. So to come up with $675, it was better than I expected. So since I turned that on, the new promoted strategy, today, thus far, I'm already at $380 at 10 a.m. Right? Traffic-wise, I've sold 23 items. My organics impressions at 77,000. My promoted impressions are at 146,000. The total number of organics sold is 15. The number promoted, 8. All right. Now, if you know in the past, when you've watched my videos, you know there's been days where my promoted sales are like 60 and my organic sales are like 3 or 5 or 8. I'm like, what? What? That makes no sense. So that was another thing that made me think, okay, see, I always thought this promoted ain't working. There's something wrong. There's not working. But then I started thinking, well, maybe it's the way I'm using it. Maybe too much is too much. Maybe going 25% is too much. It's pointless because maybe it's designed to stick within 5 to 15 range to get the best output. You know what I'm saying? So maybe it's designed for the average user and no thought was put into it after that, if that makes sense. So let me stop acting like I am almighty here doing 25% because I've got the free product, basically paid for product. And let me knock myself back down a little bit and stop trying to be so greedy, right? And I don't know. As of right now, I'm not mad. So yesterday my organics was 28 sold, my promoted was 23 sold. So comparison, the day before that, my promoted was 32 sold, my organic was 10. The day before that, my promoted sold was 42, my organic was 11. On the Saturday, which was trash, organic was 8, promoted was 32. And that was another thing too. Somebody had mentioned that it seems like, and I might have mentioned it before, but somebody said it on Facebook too to me yesterday or the day before, that it seems like that lower dollar stuff would sell at a certain point or not sell at all on certain days. Then all of a sudden, one day your high dollar stuff starts selling consistently, and then it's turned off again. So it was weird. So I'd be curious to know what that person, I have to go back at that post and ask what they promoted at, what percentage. And I decided not to, where I was doing before, I was separating my promoted by lower dollar stuff is 15%, where higher dollar stuff was 20%. Where yesterday's thing, it's the same across the board. So whether it's a $5 item or a $25 item, it's going to be the same percentage amount, which is like 1% over the suggested rate. So, is this a sweet spot? I don't know. Only time will tell. One day is not going to tell everything. As a lot of people theorize, it seems like you're on a server, a good server one day, and on a bad server the next day, and you got to take turns switching to the good servers, because that's what it feels like the majority of the time. And I'm not the only one who thinks it. There's actually a lot of you guys who think that way and feel that way. So if it feels that way to so many people, there's got to be something to that theory, correct? So is there a sweet spot to keep you more in tune with consistency? That's what we're going to find out. 30% off sale-wise, 1% over promoted suggested. So we're going to run that sweet spot probably till the end of the year and see how it comes out. Will it be hard to judge? Maybe so, because tomorrow's Thanksgiving, right? So people really start shopping tomorrow and then on, maybe even today. Maybe that's why my sales are increased. Maybe people are getting into the mood today. So it's really going to be hard to really judge. But if my sales double, something's to it. Going up a little, no big thing. Doubling, yeah, maybe there was something to the theory and the sweet spot. We'll see. So I don't know. We'll check it out. We'll see. But that's where that is. So let's get into some of this stuff that sold so I can get it shipped. What I'll probably do is just show it to you since we've talked so long, and then I'll ship it off camera so I can get through it real quick. But also, if you like things my boring reseller life, my head's always thinking and turning. So there was something woke me up in the middle of the night, and this is the way my head works. So something woke me up in the middle of the night, and I couldn't sleep because I kept thinking of it. So I was mentally jotting everything down so I could remember it this morning. So if you like, I'm always trying to figure out or think about like the universe and energies and all that good stuff, right? Not necessarily heaven and hell or life after death, but just the energies and basically the energies of the earth, the energies within our bodies, etc. Not the whole spiritual or, nothing like that. More trying to do it more on a scientific based, right? So a theory came to my head last night in my sleep, and then my brain started like throwing out support for it, if you will. So I haven't done research on this stuff. So I might do that this weekend if I got a moment to just sit back and have some fun and not think business-wise. But what if, hear me out now, I put this on Facebook and the first comment was, I want to smoke what you smoke before bed. That's how off the wall. But remember, people used to laugh at Albert Einstein. Now, I'm not saying I'm anywhere, I'm not even a fraction of a 0.00% of an Einstein, but people always laugh at weird or ideas that are outside the norm. So think about it before you laugh at me. What if I'm gonna go to, I posted on Facebook this morning. I'm gonna go to Facebook now and see if anybody else is, and I'll just read exactly what I wrote and see if anybody else laughs at me. All right, what do we got here? Nobody else is laughing at me yet. Oh wait, two people are laughing at the comment. All right, I see y'all. I know who you are. I'm taking notes. All right. I'm taking notes. All right. Cash those checks later. All right. No. But all right. Here's what I wrote in my theory and why. I think I figured out time does not exist. There's always been theories that time is man-made, time is non-existent, right? And how a human can live longer. Not just a human, any life form on the planet can live longer. Now, living longer relies on a lot of different factors, how you treat your body, how you eat, et cetera, et cetera. So this is just based off of one theory thought. So, time. Are you ready for this? I did a quick Google search, and it doesn't look like anybody's thought of this thought, at least my quick search. Time is nothing but the sunshine. All right. Time is nothing but light. Time is nothing but the sunshine going through our bodies. Now you may say, James, what the hell do you mean by that? Hear me out. Hear me out. All right. Now this first one's going to be totally off the wall, but then I'll try to narrow down the facts a little bit better. Fact 1. Humans started living longer once they found shelter from the sun. Yes, the animals too that ate them or attacked them at night, sure. But the sun, all right, think about that. Have you ever thought about that? Why would we be hiding from the sun, right? It's warmth, it's light, it gives life to the planet. Maybe it takes the life from the planet also. All right. They always say, and I'm coming up with some of this on as I go, they always say, what's else saying? I created you, I can destroy you. So maybe the sun is the creator and the destroyer. All right, setting this up. All right. So we found shelter. When we started finding shelter, we started living longer. All right. If you travel just under the speed of light, you barely age. So if light is penetrating your body, you're dying. If you're keeping pace with the light, it's not penetrating your body and your body's not aging. Now remember, I'm no Einstein here. This is just stuff that came to me in my sleep. But if you travel at, and these are facts, if you travel at the speed of light, well, I guess theory facts since nobody's probably ever done it, but, well, at least this one. If you travel at near the speed of light, you barely age. All right. Now here are some facts. Creatures, animals that live in total darkness live longer than their counterparts who live in the sun. Example, rats. Rats last about 6 years, 2 to 6 years, depending on if they're pets or if they're in the wild. So 6 years for a rat. But, what is it called? It's a mole rat, right? The mole rat lives underground in darkness and lives for 30 years. Okay? Salamanders. A salamander can live up to 30 years. A blind salamander that lives in total darkness away from the sun lives 100 years. All right? Hear me out. All right. Here's just another one that my mind threw in, which kind of makes sense. Dark colors absorb sunlight. Light colors reflect sunlight. The life expectancy of a dark-skinned human is 71 years. The life expectancy of a light-skinned human is 77 years. And then that's where my mind stopped. But then it threw in a couple of little goofy things, which I'll throw here. But I got to do more research and find more examples to play with this theory. All right, next up, vampires. Yes, it's fairy tale, it's folk, it's whatever. But there's usually always some truth in wise tales or myths or legends or fairy tales or whatever. There's usually always an inch of truth somewhere in there. So vampires avoid the sun but live forever. Huh? Nothing about the blood and all that. They avoid the sun and they live forever. And then the last one my head threw in. Why do I look so young? From now on, when people ask, well, you don't look 51. What do you do? I spent most of my life in a basement, away from the sun. This is a non-sun face right here. Weird theory, yes, but think about it. Come up with some examples for yourself to either counter it or go with it. I would like the counters too, just so I can think if I'm crazy, then I can let it go and not waste my time thinking about it. But everything my head's come up with kind of backs the theory that the sun kills us. I'm just saying. Think I'm crazy. You may think I'm crazy. That's all right. It's quite all right. Wouldn't be the first time, and it sure as hell won't be the last. But my mind's always thinking, so I'd rather think of oddball stuff or things that are not common than sit around and watch TV. You know what I mean? So no harm in exploring your thoughts and new theories and stuff that common folk would laugh at, if you will. So, let me reboot this and we'll get into this. Actually, let me just go on eBay and we'll get into some prices, and then I can do this shipping off camera. So if you saw the video, Jan had went to the bins, and then the day after that, she went over there and she goes, hey, there's barely anybody here. Come over. And I'm like, all right. So I went over to the bins and started grabbing stuff too, right? So she ended up finding probably like 20 of these hats. Some vintage V-Sport snapbacks, brand new. Very cool. I had sold one for $12.50 already. Somebody came in and offered me $10 a piece for two of them. So I sold, are you ready for a hat lot? Yeah. Two of these vintage hats for $20. And I probably still got about 17 more. Some are listed. I still have some in bags I need to get to. So pretty good there. Pretty good find. So that's already what, 10, 20, 30, $32 made off of the 3 hats alone that we got at the bins. Gotta love that. And somebody on the YouTube, on the Facebook, well, on the eBay, somebody on YouTube yesterday said that me, of course, and I've seen this many times on other people's videos, is people complaining that we're taking their livelihood away by making these videos showing what sells and et cetera, et cetera. I think my comment was, well, it's not about me. It's about teaching others how to, do better in life, make more money and be more comfortable, be more happy, basically. It's not about me making money on YouTube and worrying about myself. Because the way I look at it is you always got to try to stay one step ahead. If I've been doing this 21 years, if I can't stay one step ahead of my videos or any other reseller videos, I shouldn't be a reseller, right? There's a reason that I sell this common stuff as my foundation. Ooh. Excuse me. It's my foundation stuff, Rarely anybody else does it. Rarely anybody else will do it. They're all looking, not all, of course. The majority of people is looking for that high dollar stuff. If whether they're working part-time or they value their time more, or whatever the case may be, they don't have as much time, etc., whatever the case may be. So if I can't stay one step ahead of my videos and other videos, then I shouldn't be doing it. So if you feel that these videos take away from your livelihood, well, step your game up is the way I look at it. Learn new things, figure things out, create a business strategy. Not everybody is an entrepreneur. Not everybody has the mind for an entrepreneur, to create something. And those are the people who complain about resellers in these videos. Entrepreneurial, or at least reselling, is not for you. Go someplace else then. If you're concerned that these videos are taking away your livelihood, then you're in the wrong livelihood. Plain and simple. It ain't your thing. So, if it is your thing, because you love it so much, you will figure it out. You will create new things. The last 21 years has not been bread and butter. It has been a long, painful road. Fun, yes. But, like I said before in many videos, it was a business. And this business, when I started, I knew nothing about business, and neither did Jan really. And we put this business in the hole. $150,000 in debt, plus my $60,000 truck on top of it. And within the last, say, 10-ish years, 9-ish years, 8-ish years even maybe, I've undug that debt. So my best years are still ahead of me the way I look at it, but my best years in the past were only within the last, say, 8 years of the last 21 years. The others were a struggle, was a pain, was growing, was learning. And that's what you got to do. You got to keep learning. And I could have bailed out and declared bankruptcy with $210,000 in paper debt, but I didn't. I kept going. Why? Because I had tons of product that was basically paid for. I had lots of, what do you call it? On paper, what do you call it? But the value of the business, I forget the exact term, but the business had value with the product that it owned. So a lot of product that was, well, it wasn't paid for at the time, but it was already bought. Let's just say that. I didn't have to go find it. It wasn't paid for at the time. It's paid for now. It wasn't paid for it at the time, but it was there. It was bought. Do something, Little Calvin with the stick. Poke and do something. All right. Next up, we got another hat. So Ben Naughty North Pole Behavior Department hat, sold for $10.50. Next up, let's see, some of the stuff's gonna be buried because I've done it in order. Let me dig that in here. All right, we got Spyro. PlayStation 1 Collector's Edition, just the booklet only. This one was not, I put this up quite a while ago, so it didn't have the free shipping on it. If you're new to my videos, all my items are plus shipping, so the dollar amount I give does not include the shipping amount I charge, except for my adjusted discs and adjusted inserts, except this one. This was put up before I started that. So this sold for $5 plus $4 shipping. So, James, you're too confusing. All right, we've got another Tony Braxton cassette, sold for $4. We've got, let's see, the Eagles on 8-track, sold for $10, plus shipping. Next up, we've got Bass Pro Shops Fishing Department hat, and that sold for $10.50. And we got Miss Dolly Parton, who she's been in the news lately, right? She tries to do so many positive things for the youth and charities and such. She was granted like $100,000 or something. So that was kind of cool. But this sold for $3.50. I think she'd be worth more than $3.50. Come on now. You could have paid full price for that. All right, next up. Devo Shout cassette. Sold for $7. Thomas Dolby Golden Age of Wireless cassette. Sold for $3.50. Pew, 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 pew. We got a original Nintendo NES OEM Zappa. Sold for $10.50. I found like 4 of these in storage, 4 or 5 of these in storage. And I probably got tons more of these in storage. So I think this is the second one that sold from my store lately. So I had bought out most of that. Those video game stuff came from 2 different places. I bought out a video game store at one time, and then one of the local used record stores they used to buy their back room from. Well, they also would buy video game stuff. So I got a lot of video game stuff from there. A lot of stuff from there. And I still got a lot of that in storage. And a lot of the stuff from the store I bought in storage, except for probably the games. The games are probably all gone, except for some of the lower dollar games at that time, because I would have put them in storage, hoping they would go up in value, which the few I've been finding here and there have, like the Batman I think I sold not too long ago. When I bought that 15 years ago, it probably was only worth a couple of bucks, where I don't know what I went 30, 40 bucks or whatever I got out of it. 50 bucks or something. So that was part of the game plan back then, is putting away what wasn't worth. That's why I had all those, not all, but a lot of Pokemon cards and stuff I've been selling that was worth a higher value, because 15 years ago when I came across the Pokemon cards, they weren't worth that, so they got thrown in storage. Four Seasons New Gold Hits vinyl sold for $4. Next up, we've got, are you ready for a headline? Yeah. We got 4 hats that sold for $41.26. We got the Baltimore. We've got Titleist. We've got Missouri State Bears. And we've got Alpha Pi Alpha Skullcap. Next up, we got Cheech and Chong 8-track, sold for $7. Also, too, if you want motivation, and if watching other people list is your motivation, or at least seeing what they've listed, if you go to my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page, link should be below. On my page, I am pinning every week. I am making a picture of my goal to how many items I want to list that week. So I'm going to try to list 1,500 items every week. So that'd be $6,000 a month, 6,000 items a month. If I sell up to 2,000 items a month, my store should increase by 4,000 items every month, which means by my birthday, I should be over 50,000. That'd be awesome. But, so what I'm doing is I got a pin there, and then underneath it in the comments, every time I list 10, I put 10 and where I'm up to, the number I'm up to. 20, the number I'm up to. So every time I upload some to eBay, depending on my mood, I'll do 10 or I'll do 20 or I'll do 25, or depending on my mood. I will put it there so you can see what number I'm at every day. And if that's something like that motivates you, you can follow me on my Facebook page or friend me or whatever. I still got room for friends on there. I think I got about 1,000 space for 1,000 more people, or you can just follow me on there. So next up, I think a watcher bought these 2 items, and I'm going to get them into a box together and refund some of the shipping amount like they ask. So, hey there, is it possible to combine shipping on these? I would greatly appreciate it. I love your YouTube videos. Thank you for sharing your day with us. I will be using these to display discs and tapes at my flea market store. So that's awesome. So thank you for the order. Thank you so much. We've got a cassette drawer. Cool one, actually. Futuristic looking back in the day. The majority of them were those wood grain ones, right? So back in the day, this would look like futuristic. So very cool cassette drawer here. Along with a new in the box CD spinner. I think I ended up picking this up at the Honey Hole. I think the cassette thing came out of storage. It's probably been in my storage for years. So who knows where I got that from? Probably maybe a yard sale or something. But this came, I believe, from my honey hole. But yeah, it looked like it, if I remember correctly, like it was never even put together. I don't think I sold it as that, but because I didn't know 100%, it just looked it to me, I guess. So very cool spinner. I remember when I worked in the music store and we used to sell these kind of things, man. These things were always hot back then when CDs were hot. So both of these together sold for what, $33? $33 plus the shipping. So thank you much. Thank you very much. Next up, we've got a Cardinals stocking. New with tags. I think I got this out of storage also. Been trying to go through some storage stuff lately. Sold for $8. Next up, we've got Deadpool shirt. On the unicorn cat. That sold for $10. $10. Next up, we've got the Temptations 25th anniversary CD. Sold for $7. All right, David Glenn Hatch, I Heard Him Come CD. Mormon Symphony. Sold for $6.30. Christmas Carols, 'Tis the Season. For your Christmas stuff. Sold for $4.20. I did not pull it. Men at Work Cargo vinyl record. Sold for $4. I sold one of the last videos I made. Another GAF hat. Sold for $10.15. This I put up yesterday or the day before. Jeff and Sherry Easter, Home Folks. Check out that pic. Gotta love it. All right, sold for $15. We've got Professor Coldheart from the Care Bears. Little Care Bears figure. Sold for $8. Next up, we got, are you ready for an 8-track lot? Yeah. We've got Ozark Mountain Daredevils, Men from Earth, and Self-Titled. 2 8-tracks. Together sold for $18. $18. Kate Smith, her famous RCA records on cassette, sold for $7. And if you watched Jan's video, you saw this item. And I put it up for like 50, I think. But somebody offered me 20, so I took it. Because I got another one of these similar autographed St. Louis Steamers hat. I got another one up that's more of a derby hat. It's been in the store forever. I got it up at like $70. And now never even got an offer on that. So I went ahead and took an offer for this. I didn't even figure out who signed it. Figured it wasn't going to be worth the time. Could be wrong. I don't know. All right. Let me see what just sold while I've been doing this video. We got a Donald Lawrence cassette, sold for $10. An old hat that's been in the store for over 2.5 years. Genity corn soybeans, sold for $10.50. And Four Winds the Collection Autumn's Child CD, sold for $4.50. Boom. So sales are rolling in. I like it. I like it a lot. Even though actually those 3 sold before I gave you the amount, because we're still at the same amount. So it's kind of dried up since I started the video. Let's see. Yeah, 10.05 was the last payment. So we started at 10. It's 10:45 right now. So nothing in the last 40 minutes. Well, that's kind of disheartening the way the morning started out. Again, yesterday too, I noticed, and it's happened before in the past, even with the other, even though I made the changes, around 4:30 or 5, things just shut down till about 7 for me. Within that time, there's only usually like one thing that'll sell. And it's like, what? You know? So I don't know what causes that, but, and that's that whole thing where you speculate that you're on and off servers that work. Because it's always about the same time period. So, all right. I am behind on my listing. So day 4, so I'm doing it in 7-day increments on how many. I want to list 1,500 items in 7 days. Day 4 was yesterday, and I was only at 683. So I'm kind of behind. So today I really need to make up that difference so I can make sure I get 1,500 by day 7, the end of day 7. So 3 days left. So I'm kind of behind the 8 ball. Been slacking a little bit. Went over to the Goodwill bins one time or 2 times. One time. Jan's gone like 3 times. But she was off work for like 4 days in a row, so she enjoys going over there. So let her go and enjoy. So that is all, I believe. Yeah. All right. Please like, subscribe, and all that jive. And I think the last I looked, my big video that you guys love is up to 33,000 views. Wow. That's crazy. So appreciate everybody for that. All the subscribes, all the new people, all the old people, all the OGs, and then everyone in between. Thank you all for your time and your clicks and your likes and your comments. And I will see you all in the next video. I was waiting for No Doggy to just walk down the hall today for you guys, but you'll see him in the next video. How about that? All right. Later, everybody.